Thank you for joining Conscious Breathers, Infinite Beings Alike. We're going to have Tommy Lockward on talking about the Miami retreat we have coming up. I'm going to get him in here. There he is. Connecting. There we go.
Hey, good sir.
Grand evening to you, actually.
Definitely, brother. I'm happy to be on here. We're gonna start over. We're gonna do this a good take this time. Thank you so much for the patience of everyone, and we're gonna get a good stuff.
Thank you, guys. Well, let's start with the background stories and how we got to this point.
For sure. I'd like to go first, being that you've invited me onto this live. Thank you so much for taking the time, and everyone as well to tuning in. Everybody can be doing so many different things. However, it's always an honor to be sharing these health-based practices and tactics. I personally have been working in my health and well-being, whether that's learning and studying with herbalist teachers and different shamans from the Amazon. About 11 years. It's been a beautiful journey thus far of understanding about the nature of reality that we live in, and the human connection with nature. As a result of my wellness journey, it has also spiraled me to understanding more about spirituality. And for those that want to know a little bit more of my formation, I've been able to be blessed with the opportunity of studying all the religious traditions around the world and how fasting plays a key into their faith and the things that they believe will help the soul and the spirit. I mentioned that I've worked with a lot of different herbalists, whether that's here in the United States, in the Caribbean and Central America, South America. I feel like a lot of people get excited about the idea of the mentors that have come into my life, and one of them being Dr. Sebi, the world-renowned herbalist that has been basically into people's consciousness or arisen in their consciousness now, as a result of all the different people talking about alkaline lifestyles and herbs and everything. I got the opportunity to interview him, to work with him for a little bit. And yeah, I base my work in physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. And, fasting has been a way that it has been a bridge to many things, and also to be able to connect with you, Devon, and everything that you're doing. And so for my listeners, it would be amazing if you expanded on some of those things yourself.
Hi. So my name is Savon, aka the Black Airbender, if you don't know. I am the pioneer of alchemy breathwork, which is mixing bigu, which is a Chinese tradition of breathing to get to the point of feeling energy, where you are not sustained on dense foods. It's not the point of becoming breatharian, it's the point of getting to the point of feeling energy. And I mix bigu, mixing with sacred geometry, mixing with some of Nikola Tesla's ideology on the human body, all put into what I call alchemy breathwork, and you can utilize it in everyday life, not just a sit-down session. And I've helped many people with many ailments, if you will, all the way from sickle cell to other types of diseases dealing with the blood, and 70% of the blood is in the stomach. And that's where fasting and the breath work comes in to play. And it has transformed many lives, and I've been blessed to get an opportunity to be part of these people's journeys. And having that faith within me and the faith within the practice And the main difference, if you're asking what's the difference between alchemy breathwork or any other type of breathwork, this breathwork only deals with the nose, by the way, and not the mouth. And it's very, very powerful in that sense. And I've been on a liquid journey for about 3 years, 2 years, 80%. I went 100% since July 7th, 2019. And today's actually day 4 of going full breatharian, no food, no water, just literally fully off the power of the breath and the mental side of it as well. And that's how we actually came into contact with each other, being on liquids when you came to that men's circle.
That's right. That's right. You know, a lot of my followers, they heard me talk about how I've been doing mostly liquids based on the month of May up to now, and you know, to a lot of people that's quite, you know, rare. And you know, the fact that we were able to meet each other in this space as well in Miami, like not knowing that we were on similar journeys, which is why we're on this live now and exchanging, because as you say, like attracts like, and I've heard that before many times. And that's the nature of the reality, is that as we lift our vibration upwards, we become more aware of those things that, you know, basically are helping us on our journey. And you know, you have a little bit more of a discernment into what you want to attract in your life. And so I think that we've been somehow attracting our tribe, you know, little by little, and to be able to meet and exchange information and you know, to be on this live, it's a real honor, something that I'm really excited about, and looking forward to sharing more about the collaboration that we have in mind for 2021.
Powerful year indeed. Coming literally right after the Great Conjunction, which is December 21st. That's going to be a beautiful time. And integrating fasting into plant medicine, if you will. And the breath work will definitely play a key point. I've been honored to sit in ceremony with you guys and share the power of the breath and how it just amplifies everything going into ceremony, if you will. And you know, the physical also affects the spiritual. Indeed, you know, being on this liquid journey for so long and seeing the power of the breath, if it can sustain. For me, getting to the point of helping others was seeing that this body can sustain and still grow in mass, by the way, on liquids, was powerful enough to help literally anybody on whatever illnesses they have or disease that they have, utilizing the power of the breath and going towards more alkaline livids or alkaline foods or liquids, if you will. And when you amplify the body with breath, you literally raise your vibration at the point where going into something like ceremony, it will definitely help bring you to a different state of awareness in terms of body awareness, more importantly too, and see what kind of inner work that you need to let out or release, and you can take it from there at that point.
Good. Are you still on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, good. It lagged a little bit. I was like, oh my God, I hope
Yeah,
we
somebody
didn't
was
get
calling
disconnected.
me. Somebody was calling me.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? What you said is very powerful. I think that if I can tell you and those who are listening, when I do lectures and seminars and I begin to speak about health in general, I always show this diagram that shows the importance of plants, because a lot of people worry, coming from the notions and different things that we're taught, right? That like living off plant-based foods is not sufficient to sustain the human body. Like the body needs things like meat and animal products and things like that. I often find myself sharing this diagram of the cycles of breath, basically, where a plant gives us oxygen by taking its carbon dioxide, and we exhale carbon dioxide, and plants take that in, and so on, right? Like there's a cycle that's cosmic. It's almost divine in the way that it works, and we are part of, human beings are part of this cycle of, you know, the breath of life and the way that the plants are able to give it to us. So, you know, when it comes to sustaining the body, you can live longer without food than you can without water, and you can live longer without water than you can without breath. Like those are the main things that we find ourselves in. And it's funny that plants are able to sustain that breath. And so I often find this logic that comes to my mind is like, if plants can help us sustain ourselves with our breath, which is one of the most important things that we need besides water and food, then how can plants help us heal our, you know, our diseases, or help us heal our maladies, or help us heal in an emotional, spiritual way? And that's what plants can do. And there's all types of plants, right? We have, you know, plants that give us food, plants that give us medicine, and there's even a classification of plants that are even higher than that, so to speak. They're called plant medicine teachers. And we're talking about the ones that have been used since ancient times for ceremonial use as a way to deepen our conscious healing, our awareness of the universe that we live in, and so on and so on. And I think that, you know, I have to say that to those listening because, well, breath is such an important thing. And one of my first teachers, this herbalist from Jamaica, he always taught me, he's like, breath is the key. He always said that to me, breath is the key. And, you know, he was an herbalist. So I find that the work that you do and you know, and the work that I do goes hand in hand. And which is why I feel for those who are listening and are called to this understanding that 2021 is going to be a very powerful year. And we are offering an opportunity for people to come and learn firsthand the techniques of breath, the techniques of herbal mastery. And that's why I've called the retreat, sorry, the lights went out. I'm gonna turn it on in a minute, but I called the retreat Plant Medicine Mastery for 2021.
I like that because, you know, we're literally showing, in terms of mastery, getting to the point of, it's not just eating the plants, but getting to that point of consciousness where you're sharing the breath with the plants. You know, you look at ancient plants. I bet you all these plant medicines were definitely bigger at a certain point where you can just literally do breath work next to a huge mushroom and get some psychedelic effect. And now everything is a lot different now at this point in time. But it always gets back to the breath in that sense. So showing the mastery of breath while utilizing plant medicine, I like that in terms of mastery in itself.
You know, what you said is very true. There's actually a plant called a floripondio, which is a plant that is used a lot in South American medicines. It's very powerful and can be dangerous, but its flowers look like a bell, and they sort of hang down. And often we've been taught that if you sleep under that tree, you're just by breathing, just by being next to that plant, you're able to induce lucid dreaming. It's yeah, very powerful plant. And so what you say is very, very correct. Whereas the more that you learn about certain plants, the more that you can actually share the breath, and just by being next to a plant, and breathing the air that they emit, you can definitely get some of their medicinal effects, if you will.
Mm. There's many different stories of where someone would go no food, no water for days, sitting next to a tree, and I know literally what they've done. They literally made friends with the tree in the sense of even before getting to that point, they were eating next to the tree, they were drinking next to the tree at that same exact tree, and probably were having a conscious symbiosis relationship with the same exact tree over and over and over as a meditative practice, to the point where they're doing meditation next to the tree at that same exact tree, and getting to the point where they can feel the energy coming back and forth, recycling to that same exact tree over and over and over again. So yeah, that's how I got to that conclusion as well, in reading different books of saying mountains are really not just rocks, they actually used to be trees. And that was a really interesting look at quote unquote deforestation, and in that sense of rocks and mountains, that they're actually just big trees that used to be big trees.
That's beautiful. There's so much to learn, and if I can say, one of the most humbling things that I've learned was when I was sitting next to Dr. Sebi, and he was like 82 years old, right? Been doing healing work for 40 years and has done like amazing things. And one of the things that he told me was like, Tommy, there's so much we don't know. There's so much we don't know. He kept telling me that, and I was sort of like humbled by that, like, my God, like here is this like sage, like 40 years, 45 years into his practice, into the work that he does. And there he is saying, there's so much we don't know yet. And that should humble anybody on this path, and understanding that there's always more to climb. And all that I see myself is I'm just farther along my path, where I can kind of go, like, extend a hand to those that are still climbing up, but there's still much more to climb upwards for everyone into this healing journey, and understanding the world and nature and how we live and relate to it. And so, I think that mentors has been such a blessing and acceleration for my healing journey, and to be able to be a mentor for others now in this day and age, and helping people with fasting programs all around the world and their health journeys, and being able to assist people with various things going on in their health, from Europe, from South America, from Canada, from within the US, from the Caribbean. It's been a blessing. And I think that to be able to host an event where people can come and they could learn firsthand, it's a great blessing. And now with all of the restrictions that has been manifested as a result of a health crisis, by the way, which it has been a health crisis, now more than ever, it's important to really understand techniques that can save one's life, techniques of wellness, techniques of fasting, of herbalism, of plant medicines, and breath work. And they all go hand in hand. And now is the time. And 2021 is what I feel could be a very ambiguous year, because we don't really know what could take place. And I think that the more that we take advantage of the fact that we can travel and see each other, and especially if you live within the US, it's a beautiful time to come out and meet Devon, the Black Airbender, conscious breather, and to meet myself in what I call the Plant Medicine Mastery Retreat. And we're going to be doing a couple things that I'd like to kind of expand on, and offer the opportunity of those listening to get a little bit of insight into what we're going to do. But before I begin to describe some of those details of the retreat and everything, I kind of want to let Devon speak on some of the things that he's willing to share with us which is relating to breath work. And I think that a lot of people should get inspired by what he's going to say in terms of the things that he's learned, and how that's going to integrate into the space, because we do meditations as well as sound healing along with our teachings. And so I'm going to invite Devon to do both, to be able to help us understand more about the breath, learn more about fasting from his perspective, and then also learn about or actually experience the breathwork techniques. So I think that that's going to be a powerful thing.
Indeed. So I'm going to share what alchemy breathwork is about. It's really about turning every breath into gold and getting to the point where, I'm at the point where I can just be still and just take a normal breath, and I'll feel that inner vibration inwardly of my whole body, from going upwards, going down, back and forth. And it took time to get to that point, and mainly only with the nose. If you literally split the head open, and you can literally see that spiral in how the nose is formed, that goes to show you, the sacred geometry within everything is connected also with the nose and the upper atmosphere of the brain and consciousness, literally. So I am literally sharing, if it can sustain this body and still grow in mass with no food or no water. And I'm still working out. Even before I came over here, I'm still working out during my day from time to time. I noticed it's a lot easier for me to work out randomly on no food and no water versus me actually on liquid. So that's an interesting dynamic that I'm still wrapping my head around and still getting used to. And I can feel like, as long as I do breath work afterwards, which is really great for every facet of life in terms of digestion, in terms of reprocessing the brain mechanisms when it comes to mental perception of life, because the breath is literally there 24/7, and people don't realize how it deals with your consciousness. The more quality breaths you take, the more quality perception of life that you have. There's no going around it at all. Like, in terms of whatever you're chasing, in terms of desires, what are you really chasing at the end of the day? By the time you get to that point, oh man, I can breathe. Like, you weren't breathing before? why did it take you that long to realize, what am I really chasing in this life? And to find the cause of my ignorance that led me down a spiral path before getting up the path, so to speak, was finding the cause of my ignorance, which was breath. How was I breathing in all those times that led me down that spiral? I was breathing pretty shallow. I was always in a frantic state. And it took time to shift out of that frantic state and really get in the habit of literally turning every breath into gold, in the sense of alchemy, and the inner alchemy that we all have, and the inner alchemy that we can literally shift in all paradigms of life. I've worked with so many people from across the world, businesses, and literally all walks of life, you name it. I've worked with them all, and I've been blessed to just share that opportunity of people literally taking a quote unquote risk, sort of sense. Oh, maybe their boss may think this is crazy, but if it helps reduce anxiety and promote more work capabilities and improve the business, why not? Risks like those. So I've been really blessed and sharing the power of the breath. It's more than just breathing. It's literally everything we do.
I agree. And when we are feeling fear or anxiety, as you say, our breathing is very shallow. And when we're having a panic attack or something like that, we're breathing really fast. And I'd say that the most important thing when it comes to learning how to alkalize your body is to be able to take a deep breath properly and be able to take the oxygen, into all parts of the body. And you do that by taking deep breaths and understanding how that works. And I look forward
It's
to
the primary tool of regulating the blood and the pH level. Everything else is secondary.
Right. Right. And so I think that we're going to have a lot of fun with everybody that comes out and, to learn these things and be able to kind of teach people, because I've done some of your breath work before, and I know that there's all different types of, modalities that we can utilize our breath, whether we use certain cycles or different, intensities of the breath, and how that can, influence a certain outcome in terms of how we feel. And for those of you that don't know, sorry about this, that we have the automatic light kind of let me know that I need to stand up or move around. But for those of you here, and I'm really grateful that you are, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I do these retreats, because we have a mind-body approach to everything. We have seminars when we understand how to fast, the types of fasting. We also have sound healing and breathwork sessions and yoga nidra with Alkaline Tyler as well. And last but not least, we have the plant medicine ceremonies, which we cater. And these are experiences of deep, profound healing that can happen. And I think that when it comes to this specific retreat, this is the first time that we're collaborating together, Devon, the Black Airbender, and myself. And we're also going to have herbal foot detoxes. We're going to have a little bit more focus on the plants and fasting, rather than like understanding foods or just being like a food-based retreat. Because a lot of times when you're doing like all these health food events, you always have a lot of people focusing on foods, and they, so for those of you that want to come out, we will be experiencing more what is called plant medicines and fasting, whether that's liquid based, and for those who are willing to try some of the methods that Devon also talks about, it is within the experience of a liquid based retreat. So it's basically herbal teas, whether that's cold pressed juices, smoothies, and tonics, but just all liquids, where we can really dive deep and experience all of these techniques together. And 2021, like we always say, it's another year, but it will build upon the intensity of what's already happened this year. And immunity, learning about health is everything, because, last I'll say, for those who've never listened to me before, I had a mentor that always talked to me like this, and he said, how much you think Steve Jobs would have paid to have his health? Right? It literally is everything. Everything that we can find ourselves wanting to enjoy, whether it's, if you don't have your clear eyesight, you're not going to be able to drive that Lamborghini. If you have, if you don't have the stomach or the digestion, you're not going to be able to enjoy not even a healthy dinner with loved ones, and so on and so on. And we can really like dive deep about that. But with that said, let's get together and let's really share these teachings for everybody to know and understand. I love retreats. They're the opportunity that I give to people from all over the world to come out and really like get to meet me, get to meet my team, as well as they're going to get to meet Devon, which is on here. And I think that we can all become like family, like it always happens. So if anybody has questions, just let us know. I don't know if you want to touch upon anything else, Devon, but I pretty much said it all.
Yeah, we pretty much said it all. Some people have questions here. There are other different...
I see a question right here pop up.
It's too long of a question. Sorry. I can't even read it. All right. How could we exchange information with another? You guys can go in the link in the bio. I think in Tommy's link, it's also there as well for the retreat. You can find it there. Someone asked, when is the retreat?
Yeah, the retreat is January 29th, January 30th, and January 31st. If you follow me, you can see my name and last name, Tommy Lockward, and basically the website is tommylockward.com/Miami, and then you can register for the retreat coming up. We will require a deposit first, and then we can work out the rest. But we use that to reserve spaces and conduct interviews, because not everybody that has the finances to go can go. We have a specific process to qualify each and every one, because we do take pride in collecting very special groups, people that are like-minded, and that's really important to us, because we are essentially exposing ourselves to, like, with everyone that comes in, we're being vulnerable with everyone that comes to these experiences. So if you're interested, follow the link, let us know. I can always answer messages through direct message as well as Devon, and we love to meet you, love to get to know each and every one of you and share the breath and the plants.
Sure. Someone also asked, what if the nose is clogged and I don't breathe through the nose? I also had a client recently, I posted a testimonial. He had a deviated septum, and we did some of the exercises. He can now breathe better, even while wearing a mask as well, because he's a herbalist. He owns a herbalist store, and he can breathe a lot better. So, they have the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And the more you get into nose-only breathing, the more effective the breath will start to become, the more you literally exercise those muscles. And I will also go over that in the retreat as well, for sure. And yeah, I touch bases on those topics. All right, brother, I think we did well here. I thank everybody for coming on. Thank you all for sharing the breath. And stay tuned. And the link is in our bios for the retreat. And if you have any more questions, you know where to reach us.
That's right.
Peace.
Much love, everybody.
Peace.
See you soon.